Your present pattern of victory is leading you to your deliverance through God's power. An example of this was when God sent Moses to bring out the Israelites from the land of Egypt. Each time there were challenges, God kept giving them little victories that He was using to point them to the promised land that He was going to give to them. They couldn't see the picture that God was painting before them, but eventually, God gave them the breakthrough and they saw the promised land. When God was providing meals and water for them in the wilderness, it was little victories in their times of trials that was pointing to a time when they would have overflowing water. When God was dealing with Pharaoh, it was God showing them that they would soon be in a place where they would take and win over territories. Think about your situation right now. Are there little victories that you're experiencing amid your hardships? If that's happening, then it's a pointer to the bigger picture, your deliverance. Don't give up yet. Don't mumble like the Israelites were doing. Instead, focus on the victories that God has set in front of you. Keep on with your faith because your deliverance is here. Imagine a hurdle race. The race set in front of the runner is filled with hurdles, but they know they can reach the finish line because they've run such a race before. And as they keep jumping over each hurdle, they're drawn nearer to another hurdle, which will eventually lead them to the finish line. Their confidence is in the little victories over each hurdle. Their ability to jump and win over each hurdle is what keeps them going till they finally finish the race. This is the same sign that shows you that God is going to deliver you. If you've experienced little victories over some of the hardships you're facing, then God is leading you to a finish line of total deliverance from your hardships and trials. Number 2. God's presence and peace. You will feel God's presence when you're going through these hardships and trials. God is always present with His children whenever they're going through a hard time. He has said that He will never leave you nor forsake you, so that you can declare boldly to everyone around you that you're helped by Him. This is His promise to you. Therefore, if while you're going through your hardships and trials you're feeling and experiencing God's presence, then it's because He's there to deliver you from the trials. If God is present with you in your challenges, it can only be because He wants to deliver you from your several challenges. God is never going to leave His child stranded amid trials of hardship. If you can feel God's presence in that situation, then that's the assurance and the sign that God's deliverance is coming to you. If you're still able to remain calm, you're not angry or frustrated or disappointed with your life because of the current things, then it's God's peace over your situation. This peace He's granted to you is evidence of what He's bringing you. You've stayed your heart with peace because He's about to deliver you, and He wants you to trust in His ability. You may notice that while you're praying to God regarding the hardships and trials, you're not feeling anxious or frustrated about life. You feel less bothered about the hardships, not because you're careless or nonchalant, but because you feel a peace waxing strongly in your soul and telling you not to give up and not to be anxious. The peace in your soul is the evidence of the Holy Spirit testifying to what the Father is about to do. It's the Holy Spirit making sure that your heart is stayed calm on God, because He's bringing your deliverance. God has placed this peace in you not only because He wants to deliver you, but also because He knows that a person who doesn't stay calm is like one who stands for nothing and doesn't know what side they're rooting for. Such is a double-minded fellow, one who isn't standing firm in the faith. A person lacks peace and isn't calm. And as James said, such a person wouldn't receive from God. God knows that such peace in your heart will help you receive the deliverance that He's bringing your way. It's the deliverance of God, and so it's a blessing. This blessing is like the blessing of God that comes with no sorrow. The peace in your heart is testifying to the blessing and deliverance of God that comes with no bargain, pain, or loss. The peace you're experiencing may also show itself through patience. You'll notice that you're able to patiently wait on God, because you feel a strong conviction within your heart that your deliverance is coming. The conviction will be so strong that it'll feel like you've seen the future of your present circumstance. You will be dealing with the present situation lightly and with so much confidence and faith, because you feel peace within you. This peace and strong faith that God will indeed deliver you. You may notice that your peace is so strong and you're so calm in that situation, even though others around you seem to be anxious. People could be telling you things to increase your fears, but you're just calm to a point where people are wondering why you're acting like you don't care about the situation. They would speak and advise that your calmness is too much, and that you should find things to do about your situation. Don't listen to them. Embrace the peace that God has put in your heart. The peace is there because He's bringing deliverance your way. This peace is different from nonchalance or a carefree attitude to your situation. These two signs show you that God will deliver you from hardships and trials.
We love to show God we can do it all by ourselves, and sometimes God just lets us have our way. Sometimes God just feels the need to show us He is the superior one, and He just makes us undergo a little trial so that we can understand that we need Him in all we do. We tend not to include God in our plans. We do not commit things into His hands. It is about time we understood that without God, we would not be where we are today, let alone making plans for the future. We tend not to include Him in our plans until things start turning upside down. Then we would remember we have God. This could be the reason God puts little trials on our way most times. Life is not a bed of roses. It has its good times and bad times. Whether you are a believer or not, you would go through your trial times. It is important to keep your composure and know God is always in control. If you are not a believer, you should have a rethink about your life. Put your whole life on God, trust Him and pray to Him always. He is the King of all kings, the Lord of all lords. He is the Alpha and the Omega. He is the beginning and the end. He is the all-knowing and all-merciful. He would accept any unbeliever that wants to be a believer. God has plans for everyone. He knows exactly how everyone's life would turn out to be. And He listens to your prayers whenever you pray to Him. Ask Him for forgiveness, and He would forgive you. Ask Him for your needs, and He would answer you at the right time. James 4 verse 7 says, "Submit yourselves therefore to God. Resist the devil, and he will flee from you." Ignorance has led most of us to our doom. Most of us think we know too much, but we should know that no matter how knowledgeable you are, you can never be as knowledgeable as the God who gave you the wisdom and knowledge to solve problems. He fortifies us with wisdom to solve problems and still leaves opportunity to ask for more wisdom and understanding whenever we get confused about any particular issue in our lives. He blesses us with talents to get by, and He asks for nothing in return, only for you to serve Him. He deserves all glory and praise, and also deserves to be worshipped every time of the day. God does not like ignorant people. He would definitely punish them, and if they ask for forgiveness, He would definitely forgive them. The test and trial times will definitely turn to testimony someday. God would never watch us suffer forever. He would definitely come to our rescue. These tests are just there to fortify us with the fear of God and strengthen our relationship with God. God has what is best planned for every one of us. It pays to be a believer, as God caters for His children. God shows believers the way, and He lets them know His will. Keeping close communication with God will not only help your spiritual life, it helps every aspect of your life. God keeps close to Him people that strive to stay close to Him. The trial times has made many unbelievers believe, and has made many believers strengthen their belief. The trial times is not a time of suffering. Rather, it should be seen as a time of reflection